Hi, hello, and good time zone. And what is up, gamers? Hi, everyone. Welcome in. If I seem a little out of breath and subdued and a little tepid, I'm not feeling very well today. Surprise! I seem to say this a lot, but here we are. Um, this is my little cottage that we're gonna paint today. And I'm laughing because I'm nervous. Anyways, hope you're all having a good week so far. Hope it's been nice. I hope it's been everything that your cottagecore heart could desire. I saw the most beautiful sunset yesterday, and I tried to take a photo of it, and you're not going to be able to see it because it's on my phone. But I'll try and show you anyways because it's real pretty, and I'm going to try and zoom it in a way that like I don't dox where I went on a walk. Um, so if I just kind of zoom into here, you can kind of see the tops of some buildings, but you'd have to be real crafty about it, I think. But like, is that not heckin' gorgeous? Like, look at it. That's beautiful. You're not. I feel like you're not getting the full extent because the camera's kind of washing it out. But just trust me, it was like, just. It was a lot of yellow and pink and gray. It was like one of those sunsets. It was just stunning, absolutely stunning. Here's another one. I'm just gonna zoom you in so you can't see the name of the street, so I'm not doxing myself for where I went on a walk. But like, it looked like a Turner painting. I want to live in that. I want to live in a Turner painting. Can I get a passport? Can I? I'm applying for a British passport. Could I apply for a Turner painting passport and just live in that? That would be fine. I'd be cool with that. If you've ever visited a Turner painting in like a gallery or museum or whatever, they're so nice. They're so nice. Some of my favorites. I'm into the vibe. It's very pretty. Knows how to make skies look like the really nice skies when you're like, damn, that is a good sunset. Thank you, Mr. Turner. You did a good job. Anyways, but yeah. So this is my cottage. I have every confidence that we probably will finish this today. And as such, I do have backup project plans that are silly and involve some weird paint science. But let's get the paints out for this first. If you're not familiar with my weird paint science, this random assemblage of half pans that you see here are like a palette that I put together by combining all of these base colors with this color, which is our like mom color. Oh, that's what you're laughing about, Dan. Dan says Sammy thinks she'll finish. I have so little to do on this. For once, I think it's actually a reasonable conclusion. I'm being somewhat realistic here. Somewhat annoyingly, I do actually have like 2 other paintings that I need to complete by the end of the weekend. But I can't work on them on stream because they're part of a collaborative project, and I'm not allowed to share my work for it until it is like released. Which means I can't do it on stream. Which means I have to wait until the weekend. So I'm having to like come up with other things to do in the meantime, which is fine. I would have done them earlier, but again, not feeling too fabulous at the moment, which has been really annoying. But there we are. Anyways, these are super granulating paints from Schmincke, which I think are really cool. They do have like themed collections of paints. Like all of them have names like Desert Yellow and Galaxy Pink and Deep Sea Violet. And the reason for that is that they have like themed like sets of paints that are meant to be used together, and the inspiration for each is that like this set of colors would be really good for, say, painting a forest. So they have like a set of forest colors. So these are really good colors for a desert. So these are desert colors. These are good like for painting space. So they're galaxy colors, that kind of thing. And I decided to just ignore that and just buy like 5 colors that I thought were nice. Possibly because there was a sale on at the time. I genuinely don't remember. But yeah. As for what I've been up to this week, honestly, not very much. I've been very tired, so I've been resting a lot. And I got a very small amount of sewing done on the sewing project that I am working on at the moment, which I can show you. The piece that I'm sewing right now, I am sewing the cuff onto a sleeve. Isn't that so orange on camera, which it is not in real life. In real life, it's a very, like, straight ahead, like, scarlet red. Very strange. Almost like a primary red. So, I don't know why it's showing up like paprika orange on stream, but here we are. I'm going to mute the mic for just a second because I need to blow my nose, and I don't want to subject you to that sound. So, yeah, apologies. Sorry, I put on the technical difficulties music so you weren't just listening to silence. I thought that would be nice. I don't know what that's here. Anyways, but yeah, I'm just gonna get on with it. Just gonna get on with this a little bit, if I may. And I guess I kind of have to decide what colors I'm using to do, like, the lines of things. I'm gonna start with these little wooden implements, I guess. Because I'll do those. I'll just use the Tundra Orange, I believe, is the name of the couleur. I'll just use Tundra Orange for those, because that'll be nice and easy. Literally, the only thing that I have to do on this piece really is the line weight. Which is why I think I might actually complete it. Which I know is, like, a wild thing to say, but listen. Maybe I should be existing in a greater state of radical confidence. Maybe if I actually believe that I can complete things, then, like, I will. Instead of being, you know, a realist and being like, yeah, nah, that's not getting done. But when I'm like, yeah, nah, it's not getting done, then I'm pleasantly surprised when it does. That's the difference. And that's nice. That's nice when it's like, nah, that's not getting finished. And then you do. That's, like, so satisfying. I've decided the teapot seemed a little bit, bare. So I'm just putting a little bit of, texture onto the handle. And the little, like, lid bit. Just to make it feel a little bit more, you know, a little bit more. Anyways, okay. Yay! I don't know if you can even see with the lighting that I've added some beautiful text. Can you see that texture at all? There we go. It was struggling to come into focus, but there she is. Yeah! Yeah! That's done something for sure. Yay, good job, me. I'll just do the same for a little bit at the top of the lid of the potto. Maybe it goes like this way, actually. If just, like, the one thing that I can think of that has, like, a wooden type lid is anything to go by. The texture go this way. Yay! Okay, it's done. Yippee! Now, I'm not sure exactly how I want to do the lines for, like, the bottom portion of it, because it is kind of a gradient. So it makes sense to cut, like, the color that it makes sense to use up here isn't necessarily the same color that it makes sense to use down there. So I might need to, like, gradient the lines as well, I guess. Which feels like, I mean, okay, it's extra work, but it's not like a ton of extra work. I think it'll be fine. So yeah, no worries about that. But, yeah, what was I gonna say? I don't know. My brain is, porridge at the moment. Hi, yeah, no, no, my hands hurt. Anyways, I was watching a video about, like, D&D and world building and how to like world build your campaign without doing too much. I feel like I've never run like a TTRPG campaign of any kind myself. I've considered it, but it's so much homework. It's so much homework, and you've got to love doing the homework. And I'm just scared that there will come points where I'm just like, I do not, at this point in my life, I don't think I have the time to put into doing that and then doing all of the other things that I have to do in my life. But also I know that I would either struggle really hard not to, like, overcommit and want to put way too many details into my world building that's like, you know, I know exactly the name and, like, full backstory of every character in this tavern, and then, like, my party end up being like, yeah, we don't really feel like going to a tavern today. Let's just go hang out in the park. And I'm like, no! But, I feel like I know that that's, you know, not necessarily the most efficient way to do it, but I feel like I would also struggle to not do that, just because the temptation is so present and so real to like overcommit, especially when it's something that you're, like, interested in and passionate about, and you're like, oh man, this is gonna be so cool, and then you end up, like, barely scratching the surface of it in your game because things go in directions that you don't expect, and you're like, ah, shoot, and then you just have to improvise new stuff, which is cool and fun and, like, the point of it. But on the other hand, what do you mean you don't want to visit this room that I put so much into? Oh no! And I guess, you know, sort of, I think the strategy for that is more or less just to, like, if you put a lot of work into, say, a bunch of characters that are in, like, a tavern that your players end up deciding just to not visit, I feel like the strategy for that is just to, like, take those characters and repurpose them. Okay, so those characters don't exist in that tavern. Fine. Just, like, next session, just transplant the same set of characters into, like, a setting that they'll be visiting then. Because that way you don't end up with just having wasted a bunch of effort, you know what I mean? You are taking the things that you've already done and applying them to, like, a different setting. Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know that this was just the same stock of characters that were gonna be in that place that your party ended up not, you know, sort of bypassing for whatever reason. Dan says, why did that orc charge up to me and ask me what I wanted to drink? He's just, listen, he's just being hospitable. That's all. Like, hey. That, you know, Gurgark there could be hospitable in any situation. Oh, what do you mean you're in combat? Like, it's fine. Maybe that's just how orcs do. Before you get into a fight, you have drinks. I don't know. Maybe the fight is a drinking contest. Man, I'm good at this. Maybe I should be a DM. No, I don't think I should. I don't, like I said, I don't even have the time to work on the, like, other projects that I am actively supposed to be working on, let alone taking on, leading 3 to 5 players through, encounters with, for instance, dungeons, and potentially also dragons. like, I don't, so no. But, sometimes, you know, I feel like I need an outlet to use my character voice skills. But for that, I always have my game streams where the characters in the game don't speak, and I can just do a terrible character voice, and you all have to listen to it. And that's fun. My favorite thing about that is when I play a game that I've played like on previous streams, but I've completely forgotten what the character voices I did were for those characters, so I have to come up with new ones that I hope are the same, but like they're probably not. At this point, I can remember one of the character voices that I did for Silksong for sure. For some reason, Craig, the innkeeper at the halfway home, which is the closest I've encountered in the game to a tavern, is just some flavor of northern. And I love him. He's delightful. But yeah, anyways, but I do enjoy doing the character voices, but if the character voices change from one stream to the next, I do apologize. That's just because I have a terrible memory for what I did the time before. And you know, at least a week has passed since the last time I did that thing, so you can't expect me to remember stuff. For sure! Thank you, Dan. I can do Sha! So, that's a thing. Still one of my favorite Hornet utterances, though this feels like a fringe opinion in the Hollow Knight Silksong fandom, but one of my favorite, and I love that we get it in Silksong as well. One of my favorite Hornet utterances has always been Garaba! It's just fun. Which I assume, based on the circumstances in which she says "Garaba," I assume that it means like come and have a go, because she's like gearing up for a fight at that point, and I love that for her. Anyways, Turnip says I like yelling "Hikari!" That's a good one as well. Absolutely. I quite like minor spoilers for Silksong. Again, I mean, I've already spoiled one NPC so far this stream, but minor spoilers for Silksong. One of the big differences between Hollow Knight and Silksong for me is the fact that when Hornet dies, either from like falling on spikes or accidentally just like gingerly walking into Hardbone Hopper, or you know, just running a little bit too fast and going doof onto a bed of spikes, or falling in valiant battle against a very difficult foe, you know, any of the above. The fact that unlike the little guy from Hollow Knight, who they don't speak, their character wasn't voiced at all. So when they died, it was just like, and the screen would go black and you'd rematerialize on a bench. When Hornet dies, the screen doesn't just go black and she rematerializes on a bench. She goes, ah! She just cries out in horrible pain. And it makes me feel so much worse every time it happens. And it happens a lot. Because I'm not very good at this game. Like, damn. So, you know. We've got some shenanigans to get up to. On the next day stream, which is tomorrow morning, in case anyone's curious. I do have a schedule up on my Discord, but it's the same. Pretty much every week, unless I have to take a day off. I rarely do streams on like off days, because I'm tired and busy. But I stream most Mondays, Thursdays, and Friday mornings. But anyways, Turnip says, OMG, the first time that happened to me, I nearly quit out. Oh, Turnip, I'm so sorry. It is genuinely distressing. I confess, I have an off-stream save where I'm playing so I can play the game more than 3 hours per week, because that's the only time that I have to stream. But sometimes I want to play more Silksong because it's fun. But uh, I usually have it muted so I don't have to hear her go ah! every time she dies, which is frequent. But with that also being said, also hello Sammy Ann and hello Bees. Bees says, I've seen no fewer than 4 streamers quit Silksong because it's so hard. It really is like a ding-dang difficult game, but I tell you what, the reason that I think I am committed to sticking with it through to like 100%, not just because I like this game a normal amount, but also because, in my experience, I have come up against areas where I'm just like, this is too hard. It takes, like, I am in this boss fight for 30 seconds and get my butt handed to me so hard within that 30 seconds that I can't even learn the boss's moveset well enough to be able to fight back in any meaningful way. And yet, if I just keep doing it over and over and over again for like an hour or two, eventually I beat the boss and I get better at it. And I'm not very good at video games. It just takes, like, I don't know, radical confidence and extreme perseverance in seemingly insurmountable circumstances. And normally, I don't have either of these things, but I guess I do in very specific video game circumstances because the doing of it is fun enough that I want to keep doing it over and over and over again. You know? Like, it's kind of disappointing if I finish a boss fight in one go, because I'm like, no, I wanted to do more of that, and now it's over, and I don't get to do it anymore. Like, I was kind of disappointed when I beat a couple of bosses fairly quickly, because I was like, no, that was fun, I want to do it again, you know? That's normal, right? Anyways, Sammy Ann, thank you so much for your kind words, and hello, and I hope you are well. Dan, thank you very much for the posture check. I have readjusted my, like, seat cushion, and when I say seat cushion, I mean I literally have a bright orange throat, here's a corner of it, a bright orange throat pillow that sits behind my back on the seat, because otherwise the seat is, it's for people with longer legs than me, like every seat that exists in real life, because I'm a short ass. But anyways, yes, I have adjusted my cushion, and in so doing, have re-lengthened my spine. It will not last long, but thank you again. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea, which is turmeric and pineapple, because my god, I'm having some symptoms, y'all, and they're not fun, and I'm hoping that the anti-inflammatory power of turmeric might help calm them down a little bit. Yum. Anyways. Hold up. You know, sometimes when you're eating popcorn, and you don't realize it, but a shard of popcorn seed just apparently wedges itself to, like, your gum, and just lives there for a while. Yeah, the sip dislodged it. So I have, disposed of that in the garbage. That's too much information. I don't know why I told you that. But, you know, like, I think I'm eating quite a bit of specifically Tesco brand salted popcorn because it's the nicest shop-bought popcorn that I've found. That's not, like, sugary, like, toffee popcorn or whatever. I do not like the sweet popcorn they have in this country. Sometimes they add artificial sweetener to it, which is nasty, and I do not like artificial sweeteners at all. It's one of the things I'm very sensitive to. Not in terms of, like, allergies, just in terms of, like, it tastes very bad to me. And... But additionally, it's just, I find it really bland if there's no salt in it. Unless it's like a toffee popcorn where the popcorn kernels are like coated in toffee, and that's bad for the temporary filling that I've got on before I have a crown put in next month. So, yeah, but I'm enjoying eating popcorn again because there was a period of about 3 months where I was going from temporary filling to temporary filling mid-root canal, and I couldn't really eat anything that you could like crunch on, but especially not something like popcorn where anything is likely to get stuck in your teeth. I couldn't have. Oh man, you know those little like sesame snap treats that you can pretend are healthy because they're basically made out of sesame seeds, but they're not really healthy because the sesame seeds are just bound together by like a combination of honey and glucose syrup. So like this isn't good for you. It's like crunchy halva, basically, and I love halva. Halva is one of my favorite, like, sweet treats to ever exist in the history of humankind. It looks like quick-drying cement, and it tastes like an absolute goddamn dream, and the texture is so weird, and I love it. Anyways, if you've never had halva, gazillion% out of 10 do recommend. It's my favorite thing. Anywho, ever since I was a very small child, I remember my cousin George was like, here, try this, it's halva. And I was like, this doesn't look like food. And he's like, I know it looks like cement, but it's good. And I tried it and I'm like, oh my goodness. Anyways, I hope George is well. His children are adults. What is time? And older viewers may recognize the sensation of knowing someone since they were like born / a child and they are now like a fully grown adult who lives independently and has a university degree. Like I have variously, my nieces and nephews are all at least in their teens, which feels super wrong. One of them has a university degree. One of them is currently in, I think they're like second year at university, and they also have a job, and one of them is like, secondary school age, and I'm just like, no, I remember your cute little baby sneezes, and how you were tiny and wrinkly, and I could hold you like a little sack of sugar, and you'd just be cute. No, how are you taller than me and have a mustache? No! But also, wow, what an amazing adult you're growing up into, and I'm so proud of you. It's a weird feeling. Sunrise, sunset. Sunrise, sunset. Anyways. Dissing the popcorn, says Dan. Immigration officer marks their clipboard. No! Listen, literally one of my favorite snacks in the entire world is specifically Tesco own brand, a UK company, salted popcorn. It's the business. Also, Walker's Crisps. Love them. There will always be a very, very strong place in my heart for Lay's ketchup from Canada and Ruffles All Dressed, also from Canada. But I really like a baked Lay's lightly salted. And I know that's going to sound crazy and stupid because that's like the most boring crisp to ever exist. But y'all, that's because it's made to be dipped. It doesn't have any competing flavors that fight with the dip. So anything you dip it in, it's going to be really good with, as long as it's a good dip. There's this hummus. There was an episode of a Mary Berry cooking show where she pronounced hummus as humus, not hummus. And so Twitch user Sludge Callier and I like to affectionately razz that moment by sometimes referring to it as humus, but I was in the supermarket yesterday and I was like, oh, sweetheart, I forgot to pick up a pot of humus. I'll be right back. And I'm just like, okay, here we are, I found my humus. And I'm just like, oh god, someone hearing me in this shop is going to think that I think that it's pronounced humus. No! Anyways, Bees says, I'm drinking some crappy decaf with coffee mate like a trash goblin. Listen, my evening coffee treat is a Nescafe instant latte. So, glass houses if I was going to make a comment about it. And I don't drink what you want. It's all good. It doesn't matter. Just as long as you enjoy it. Anyways, my husband has just come home, so I'm going to go say hello to him. I'll be back in just a second. Now, listen here, Dan. I love Mary Berry. She's an international treasure. And I think she's wonderful. I'm subscribed to her YouTube channel even. Back in a second. Hi, baby. Hi. We were talking about humus. Mm-hmm. They have more coffee filters.
Okay, good.
And coffee also. Yeah. Backup coffee. I got a Christmas coffee, but that was before we bought that tin of jingly beans. So we have 2 different Christmas blends to enjoy. Yep. Hell yeah! Yeah! Okay, cool. Babe, I'm gonna go stream. I love you so much. Can I give you a kiss? Give me a kiss, give me a kiss. This was not that trouble. Come on. Oh, your nose is so cold. Go warm up. Go. Stick the kettle on. Go make yourself a G-dang cup of tea. Okay, I love you. Hi. Anywho, Beast says the whole you having a mustache is illegal to me. Yeah, well, I know I'm not the only person who has this feeling, and I think it is a different, it's definitely a different feeling to the feeling that you get when you are someone's parent, and you see them, like, you know, getting older, because you see them, like, every day. Whereas, if it's someone that I see, like, maybe a couple times a year, they become frozen in my mind as, like, sometimes the last time I saw them, but more often than not the first time that I saw them, especially if they're a child. So seeing them again and they're, like, 7 feet tall and they're pregnant and they're 29 years old, I'm like, but you're in primary school. It just gives me a tiny crisis for a minute. Because, like, obviously, nominally, I am aware of the passage of time and how it works and yada, yada, yada. But also, like, I think my brain has trouble conceiving of the fact that, like, I'm over 40. Like, that feels fake. Like, realistically, I'm like, yes, I can point to, like, all of these different points in my life that now feel really, really long ago. So it makes sense and stands to reason that I am the age that I am. And yet... you know, I guess because I don't feel like 40 is supposed to feel. And I think part of that is to do with, like, just completely inaccessible property prices in the place where I live means that, like, my partner and I are not homeowners, which is something that I kind of reasonably expected would have been the case by this age. But B, sunscreen. Honestly, sunscreen. Hey Sunshine, what's up?
Are we having soup and bread, or...
Are we having soup or are we having veggie bites? I'm gonna put it up to you, because what would you rather have? Would you rather have soup with some toast, or would you rather have veggie bites? Do we have toast bread?
I don't know.
Or did you want it? What?
Do you have toast bread?
I have Vitality Loaf fake Vogel bread, and I also have ciabatta rolls, so, like, I can make either toast out of either of those.
Okay. Well, I bought some bread today.
You did? Okay, so if you want soup and toast, we can have soup and toast, or if you want nuggies and veggies, then we can have nuggies and veggies.
Let's do nuggies.
Nuggies? Okay. We're having nuggies for dinner, everyone. I'm sure you were absolutely enthralled by that conversation of our 2 children's menu meals for the remainder of the week, which are tomato soup with cheese on toast and veggie nuggies with mashed potato and peas. Because honestly, I haven't felt very well, and doing children's menu level cooking is pretty much all I'm able to summon at this point. Turnip says, autism dinner! Hell yeah! I think generally as a tism haver, I am a fairly adventurous eater. And then I'll be, like, watching a video, like a cooking video or something, and I'll be like, oh man, this would have been so good if they didn't add blue cheese. Or, no, why did they put mustard? No, I thought he was putting, like, pecorino or something on top of that salad. Why is it fresh horseradish? You know, like, just every recipe where someone adds, like, an ingredient, and I'm like, piss, they've ruined it, pardon my French. Turnip says, I find that joke hilarious. I hope that it passed as a joke to everyone. I just realized it could read mean. It absolutely reads as, like, a kind in-joke to me, because I completely relate. I tend to call those meals, like, children's menu, but it is It is definitely an in-joke among a lot of TISM havers that I'm aware of, that, like, the god tier food is nuggies. And honestly, yeah, nuggies are the best. I'm really annoyed about the fact that it's very difficult to find gluten-free, specifically vegetarian chicken nuggies, because I don't really eat chicken. So I can have veggie chicken nuggies, but they're all with wheat breadcrumbs. They have gluten-free chicken nuggies at Waitrose, but they're made with chicken. Ah! Anyways, Bees says, listen, I had to go to my kid's wedding. Congratulations! Congratulations, baby Bees! And I was like 4 years ago. Congratulations 4 years ago on your 4 years of wedding anniversary, baby Bees. 7 feet tall and pregnant with a mustache. What a family Sammy has. Listen. We are like from very robust Central European stock. Like, the stash is present. I have to take pains to not be mustachioed, okay? Anywho, Bees says, it is crazy. She swears in front of me now and her husband calls me mom. Oh man, I'm jealous that y'all have figured out that naming convention, because I do not know what to call my parents-in-law. My moderator / spouse and I have been married for 10 years, and I do not know what to call them. I just try to avoid calling them anything at all. If I'm referring to them to another person, I will just say, like, moderator / spouse, Twitch user / Callier's parents. And yeah, if I'm referring to them directly, I will just make it clear to whom I am speaking and then speak to them and not use their name. Because calling them by their, like, first names feels weird. We're not peers. I'm your daughter-in-law. But also, calling them, like, mom and dad feels weird because I'm not their daughter. And, like, what else is usually, if I'm just, I'll refer to them as, like, Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Parents. Alright, mate. Stan, yeah, exactly. Hey, you, says Bees. Yeah, it just, it resolves the whole problem. I feel like if we had a child at this point, it would be so much easier, because when I'm with said child, I could just refer to the grandparents at that point as grandma and granddad. But we don't have a child, so I can't even do that. I don't know if my moderator / spouse has really figured out what he calls my parents. I think he's, like, maybe, like, very occasionally referred to them by, like, first name, but not to them directly. But yeah, do you have a dog? Says Bees. If only. Sadly, no. I do have a nephew dog, but he lives in Canada. Actually, I have a nephew dog and a niece dog, but they live in Canada and Japan, respectively. And I haven't actually met either of them, because they have been, they joined the family since, I haven't visited either of those homes since they joined the, sides of the family, respectively. About which I am sad, because I would like to meet my niece and nephew. We would love to have a dog, but it is not possible where we live at the moment. And we'd have to do... Even if we were allowed to have a dog in this space, circling back to the, like, organizational tidy-up talk that we started with earlier, because I think Joe in the chat said that they were doing some having a big tidy-up at the moment. We'd have to, like, dog-proof the house, which is a lot of work, because, man, we have a lot of trinkets and tchotchkes and figurines and stuff that potentially are made out of the kind of plastic that dogs, for some reason, really love to chew. I'm thinking of, if you've ever been in a home where there is both dogs and children who are at the age where they have Barbies, and you've ever, like, therefore encountered the child's Barbie, like, collection Where does that okay, I don't know if this is just me having had this experience, but like going over to friends' houses when I was like little, like you know, first grade kind of thing, and they had like a dog, and then we'd be playing with their, you know, they'd get out their like suitcase full of Barbie accessories, and they'd take, you know, their two Barbie dolls out, and the Barbie dolls are perfectly normal children's Barbie dolls. Like they have uneven haircuts, and they're like their beautiful long blonde hair is all like matted and tangled and stuff. And their legs are just completely mangled because at some point the dog has been like, oh, that is the most delicious, most wonderful smell I've ever smelled in my entire life. The best texture, the good texture. I gotta chew on it. I gotta. You don't understand, I gotta chew on it. And then they chew on it, and then the legs are all ruined. But it's like, you're not gonna replace a beloved Barbie doll just because, like, its legs are all ruined. That's a horrible message to send to children. They have a Barbie doll that has legs that don't work properly anymore. And some people also have legs that don't work properly anymore. And, I forget what my point was. But have you, you know the Barbie doll with the legs that have been all chewed up? Yeah. Anyways, I don't remember why I brought that up. I'm sure I had a good reason, but it's gone. Fresh memes. Anyways, I also didn't grow up with a dog. So I was like in my 20s when I really got to know some dogs properly. And that was nice. But we actually got a dog when I was like maybe 5. I was very skittish. I'd never really been around like large animals. And this was an incredibly rambunctious dog that would like bite at your ankles. It was a terrible choice for a first dog for a young family. And I felt really bad about it and blamed myself a lot for the fact that the dog only lived with us for like 2 weeks, because I was also the smallest person in the house and the dog was the closest to me in size, and I was terrified of it because it would try and like bite my ankles. So yeah, we didn't have a dog when I was growing up. I think your point is that you don't have a dog. My point is that I don't have a dog. And I wish that I could, because I love dogs now. I absolutely love dogs so much. Every time I see a dog, I get so happy. But we can't have one where we live. So that is like a sometime dream for future me and spouse. But it's BRB time and we're about to run into ads. So where's my BRB screen? You're going to have to look at the BRB screen for a few minutes. BRB, everyone. We're back. Hi everyone, welcome back. Hello. Say goodbye to the music. Hello, hello. Dan says my hockey just got called off tonight because of freezy pitch and I don't know how I feel about it. Oh no. Oh no. Also, I understand what you mean by freezy pitch. Probably because it's hecking cold out there. And this may be affecting, you know, the terrain. But on the other hand, it sounds like such like a British term, and my brain just started turning over like what else that could mean. Like, oh sorry, Chesney can't go to choir practice today. He's come down with freezy pitch. That's where my brain went. Anyways, or like you're auditioning for the choir and they're like, you know, well, like you put a lot of your heart into that performance, Chesney, but fortunately you've got a bit of a freezy pitch. You know, so I think that's something that you might try and work on and then maybe come back next year. And then Chesney is just absolutely gutted by that experience, but is determined to work on his freezy pitch and come back next time and absolutely nail his audition and join the choir. That's... I don't know, I've come up with a whole story for Chesney. He's just got a song in his heart, the little lad. He wants to be a star. And you know what? I believe in him. I think he can do it. I think he could become Britain's sweetheart. Anyways, he has the last laugh when he writes the one and only and goes on to global fame. To be fair, that is the only Chesney whose name I can think of. And with that being said, I forgot what his name was when his song came on in like an advert recently, and I was like, oh, who is the guy who does this song? It's and I could not think of his name. I was like, Ken? Jimmy? It's like, no. But to be fair, that's also the only thing by that man that I know. So, and I don't know it very well. I only know the bit that goes, I am the one and only. I mean, he's not my one and only. That would be my moderator / spouse, Twitch user / Callie, of course. My one and only. Anyways. We love each other very much. Oh. Now then. Okay. I hope I've done an alright job with this, teapot situation. I hope it feels sufficiently whimsical. I don't know. I did toy with the idea of putting some, like, designs on the pot itself, but then I was like, is that going to be too busy and detract from the landscape up above? And maybe it would.
Attention.
Twitch user Sammy Kelch.
Choppers.
Oh my goodness, Xenia, hello! Welcome in. Hello, Raiders. It's lovely to see you. Welcome, hello. How are you doing? How was your stream? Let me get a shout out for you. Las Vaquitas are here. Hello, welcome. Here to graze the meadow. Well, I hope that the meadow, there's plenty of fresh graze here in the meadow for you, and I'm sure it's very delicious. But welcome in. How was your stream? What'd you get up to today? Hello, too. Let me say hello to, the friends in the chat. Hello, Demi Boy Dipper. Hello, Amira Gaming. And hello, Xenia. Welcome. Let me get a shout out for you in the chat. If I can type while speaking, that would be great, but I can't. I did it. Yay, it worked. Okay, cool. Anyways, and welcome in to everyone who's just come in on the raid. It's lovely to see you. Hello. We're just doing some cozy, attempting to finish this piece and then maybe working on some bad paint science if we have time. But hi, my name's Twitch user Sammy Kelch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and most Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Fridays and every once in a while on a Thursday if I'm feeling extra crispy, which I probably will be at some point within the next couple of weeks. Because I've been itching to do some more silly gaming. Anyways, but today we're working on this little teapot, tea kettle piece. It is an accompanying piece to this. Oh, where did it go? Where did you go, little buddy? To this coffee pot that we finished last time, which is very much like a nice sort of like after dinner evening coffee situation. I feel like since they both would exist on a stovetop, they live on adjacent spots on the on the hob, and they're also dating. I was doing art too. I love this kettle piece, Xenia. Oh, thank you so much. And also, we are an art tax optional stream, just so you know. If you do have any artwork that you'd like to share with us, whether it's something on your socials or what you were working on today, I would love to share it with the class. So you can absolutely whisper a link in my direction if you'd like to. But if you just want to chill or decompress or whatever, that's also absolutely fine. No pressure whatsoever in either direction. But yeah, that is always available to our rating friends. But as for me, in case you're wondering what I do, besides this one, I am a traditional artist working primarily in watercolors, but also sometimes in inks and other sort of similar related media. Can I get my screen to display? No, it's not gonna. Okay, there we go. This is a piece that I posted recently. I regret to inform you that this actually sold out. I might be able to scrounge together like one additional one because I think there was like one person who really wanted one of these. I don't know whether or not they had the chance. But this was in my latest shop update, and it is a little paper drake, and they they're very silly. But I really love this piece. I think it's very sweet as well. What else? This is... I don't feel like these are necessarily representative of my work as a whole, but here's Fredward, which is short for Froggy Edward, of course, because, I mean, look at him. But what else? Oh, this piece that took absolutely ages and was I was so nervous doing it because of all of the teeny tiny little details, and I'd never done anything medieval inspired like this before, but man, it was so much fun, and I want to do more medieval inspired stuff now. Anyway, that's some of the kinds of things that I do. I also really like painting public transit stations, and little guys, you know, the huge. Anyways, thank you for your kind words, y'all. I love seeing your work on my Instagram. The whimsy is so perfect. Hey, that's too nice. Thank you. Jeez. No, you're making me blush. Anyways, let me get another shout out for you, Zenny. I do very much appreciate the braid. If I can get that to work correctly. Yay, it's working correctly. Okay, fabulous. But yeah, welcome in everybody. We are finishing this and then maybe doing a little bit of bad paint science. But first, I have a link. I have a link of something to share from our lovely raider. So let me cue that up here so we can have a little look-see. Ooh. Okay, y'all. The vibes are immaculate. I want to, you know, sometimes you see a landscape piece and you're just like, I would like to exist inside that. I want to exist inside this. The colors are stunning. The textures are beautiful. I love this. It captures such a vibe. This is delightful. I want to enter this woods and go on a little adventure. I think that would be so nice. So yeah, I love it. Ooh, pretty, says Joe. I wholeheartedly agree. This is gorgeous. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. My goodness. Hell yeah. I love seeing what other people are working on. It just makes me so happy. So thank you. I'm going to, actually, before I paint anything else, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Very important to stay hydrated. Because my... No! What the heck? Why did it do that? No! Well, I broke the stream, but please stick around. I'm still here. Technical difficulties indeed. I was trying to like scroll upwards through chat, but I think it was on the wrong like bit of my streaming software. I had like clicked on the wrong section of my streaming software, and so it decided to scroll through my scenes instead. So I'm very sorry for that horrible disruption there. I will try to make sure that doesn't happen again because yikes. Anyways, gonna continue trying to finish the lines on this bad boy. And just, I guess, gently query, how's everyone's week been? I hope it's been good. My week has been, honestly, too busy to kind of report on in any other meaningful way. Like, I don't know, I don't have anything super exciting to say about the week because I've just been kind of resting, and when I haven't been resting, I've just been getting my head down and, like, working on stuff. I did watch, I'm rewatching Star Trek Deep Space Nine while I work on a sewing project at the moment, and I did make it as far as the last episode of season 1, and man, it's such a strong first season, you know? And that's not always the case, especially with, like, older shows that, when shows used to be allowed to go on for, like, 7 seasons and didn't have to be, like, earth-shatteringly amazing right from the jump, like I feel like they do now. I kind of I appreciate those wobbly first seasons where things are they're still finding their footing. They're still not 100% sure, you know, what direction it's going to go, or it just ends up going in directions that they didn't necessarily expect in the first instance. I find that super interesting as a writer. Because I feel like you're seeing some of that, like, process of, like, figuring things out in real time. And that's kind of cool. That's kind of fun. I kind of enjoy that. Like, I remember, as I've been rewatching it, I was thinking about how, like, there's one character in particular where I'm like, man, The characterization in early episodes of this character is, I don't like it. Like, I love this character, but I feel like they're not landing in the way that I remember them being. And I think, and it's just, I actually saw a Tumblr post from one of the writers of the show, like, today, where he was talking about how, they had a specific idea in mind for who this character was when they first started, and it just wasn't landing. And like it didn't really work very well with the actor that they had cast, who's an excellent actor. And it just felt not awesome, and so they ended up sort of leaning the character more into like what are the strengths of this actor and what's a more interesting direction we could take the character, and they just got so much better. And I just think it's so interesting to me to actually like watch that play out in real time on the show. Anyways, but this is the kind of thing I genuinely do find quite fascinating as someone who writes stuff, and also kind of encouraging to see that these things are a process, and sometimes you set out with a specific intention, and sometimes that intention doesn't work out, and so you make a change. That's all fine. And to have the willingness to be flexible about these things and be like, okay, this character isn't working very well as a more serious character, but they would fit in really well if we, sort of leaned into making them more sort of like roguish, that kind of thing, and then they become amazing. That's just so fun. Anyways, Dan says, I've been visiting my mummy at the hospital every day because she had a hip replacement on Tuesday. She came home this afternoon. I'm glad to hear that she's home, and I hope that she is feeling all right. I hope the hip replacement does good things for, like, her hipness. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I hope that her recovery is going well, and that it is, good. Yep. Anyways, much love. Yummy. I do have 2 cups of tea, as usual. As you may well have guessed, I have a turmeric tea on my left, and then on my right, I have peppermint. It's fine. Anyways, she is twice as hip now. Hell yeah. You love to see it. Hip and cool. Man, that reminds me of the amount of, like, young people slang that I am completely unaware of. I say to myself, like, man, I'm so out of touch with the young people these days, and then I remember I was largely out of touch with the young people when I was a young person. Like, someone would say, hey, do you like blah, 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 and I'm like, I've never heard of that in my life. What are you talking about? And it would be some, like, extremely popular concept or music group or whatever, and it's never been by design, and entirely been by, I mean, look at me right now, I'm rewatching a TV show from the 90s that I've seen several times before. Why? I don't know, because I like it. As the adverts say, oh yeah. When you see adverts for things like laundry detergents or like dishwasher tablets and that kind of thing, and because it's like a cleaning product and it's not safe necessarily for like youngsters to be handling, they'll have a little like disclaimer at the end of the ad being like, always keep away from children. But out of context, it just sounds like they're telling you that you should be avoiding children yourself at all costs. I always hear keep away from children as a piece of life advice rather than a safety warning, says Dan. Yes, exactly. Keep away from children. They'll make references to TikToks you haven't seen and use confusing slang that you think is bad. Yup. Anyways, it's probably a good time to remind people that this is an adult stream for grown-ups. And I did recently have to ban someone for outright telling us that they lie about their age, which, even if that was a joke, even if that was the goof, I have no way of knowing whether or not it was a joke or a goof, so I have to take it at face value and assume that they were just outright telling me that they do not belong in this stream. So apologies to them, I guess, but not really, because, like, you played yourself, bud. You're not supposed to be here. Bye! Anyways, I hate banning people, but them's the rules. And yeah. Anyways. Oh man, now I have like the music from an advert stuck in my head. I actually had, okay, so I don't know if anyone else gets these ads, but I get a lot of ads for like a health insurance company. And they have this sort of like bouncy jazz music as their advert music. And it's, you know, because of the frequency with which I hear it, because of the frequency with which I see their ads, because of the frequency with which I see their ads, because of the frequency with which I see their ads, because of the frequency with which I see their ads. Oh no! Stop echoing. I got it stuck in my head all day yesterday, and it was terrible. Just the worst. And super not fun. And I would like it to never happen again. But you know what? Having talked about it now, guess what? It's stuck in my head again. No. No, no. No, 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 no. Make it stop. It burns my brain. Okay. I've decided to try and make the outline colors mildly coordinate with the sections of this blobbit, so I've been doing them like separately, and I hope that looks alright. Oh man, this song will never leave me now. It's in there. It is right in there. Oh no. Anyways. And I don't play music on stream because I don't want people to... Well, to be honest, I just think it's nicer. For me personally, obviously, like, I do watch a lot of streams where people have music and I enjoy it. But if I'm playing music that's, like, not to everyone's taste, and someone comes in and they're like, oh, the art's really cute, but I really hate the music you're listening to, then are they going to end up in a situation where they leave the stream and never come back because they're like, yeah, I don't enjoy this music. I don't know. But I think I'm done this piece. I think this piece is done. So I'm gonna sign it real quick. And then I'm gonna drop a super, super, super quick BRB so I can attempt to get all of the gubbins together for the next section of stream. So this is what this piece looks like. This is its partner. And I hope y'all like them. I hope they're okay. I don't know. I tried my best. Anyways, I'll be back in like 5 seconds. Here's the technical difficulties screen in the meantime. And say goodbye to these. I have scrounged up my supplies. We should be all ready to go for the second stage of this trim. I told you I was going to have other stuff to do, and I do. So, just had to make sure that I have all of the gubbins that I wanted to have for it. Okay. I have all these little neatly stacked little paper wrappers. Do they need to go back in the paper wrappers? Yes, because otherwise I won't remember what they are. So I always rewrap them in the little paper wrappers that they came from when I bought them from the art supply store. Nice. Anyways. So that was the super granulating paints from Schminke, which are very fun to work with. I do like a good granulation session. Ah, a Sonic Man. Thank you very much. Welcome in. Hello, hello. And happy early Thanksgiving to you too. It is indeed. I think, ooh, paints, yum, says Pigeon. I hope I will produce some pleasant looking colors from them. Also, hi Pigeon, welcome in. And hello Sonic, and happy early Thanksgiving to you too. For anyone, I didn't realize that it was Thanksgiving weekend. But apparently it's Thanksgiving weekend, and is it Thanksgiving weekend this weekend in the America, or is it next weekend? In any case, I'm guessing if Sonic said happy early Thanksgiving, then it is, Thanksgiving weekend in the States, in which case to my USian viewers, happy Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you have a nice time. I hope you have a lovely meal, whether you're celebrating with family or friends or just by yourself. I hope you do something that makes you happy next week. Nice. Well, enjoy your gravy and or stuffing and or whatever else that it is that you eat. Like when you make sweet potatoes and then you put marshmallows on top of them and put them in the oven. I thought that this was so I was laboring under the assumption for a very long time that this was a strictly American thing because no one I knew in Canada ever did it. It turns out, having learned from a fellow Canadian, they do it. Some people do it apparently down east because they grew up with it and they have relatives from down east. So, maybe I just didn't know the right people from down east. I don't know. I'm from Ontario, and we did not. But on the other hand, my mother was an immigrant, and did not, as a matter of normalcy, even have marshmallows in the house, let alone put them on top of sweet potatoes. No, we do it, says Sonic. Nice. Pigeon, have you not heard of this side dish? This is a classic Thanksgiving side dish in some regions of North America, apparently, where you take, like, mashed sweet potatoes with presumably some seasoning inside them, then you put marshmallows on top of them, and then you bake that in the oven, so the marshmallows get all gooey, and then the sweet potato gets mushy. I don't know. It's like, I think they call it a casserole. Ontario, home to Rush and Scott Pilgrim. Correct. 100% correct. Just so you know, these tattoos were inspired by the band Rush. I got them when I was like 23. Shut up. So yeah, I am indeed from Ontario. Can you tell? Anywho, let me see. I'm gonna scrounge up some of this paint paper. I have extras of that I don't like painting on it normally, but it's fine for like swatching. I haven't, says Pigeon. I am unsure how it would taste. Here's my take on sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top. I could see myself enjoying a version of this with if you took like mashed sweet potato that's been nicely seasoned with some other gubbins in it, maybe some egg to hold it together, and put it into a pie, like a pie pastry, and then put marshmallows on top of it and put that in the oven and just called it a sweet potato pie, I'd be like, yep, I'm into that. Because I do like sweet potatoes in a sweet context. I like sweet potatoes roasted with like maple syrup. I think that's really yummy and good. Maybe a little sprinkle of flaky salt just to, you know, balance the flavors out a little bit. But also sweet potato pie is already a thing. You could put marshmallow on sweet potato pie. Why not? But yeah. Ooh, Sonic. One time, I think the first time I took my moderator slash spouse is British. We live in the United Kingdom. But the first time that I took him to Toronto, we went on a sort of mini tour of locations from the Scott Pilgrim film. Specifically, there's like a Second Cup coffee shop that features in it, and we like went to where that Second Cup coffee shop was. It's like a different coffee shop at the point that we went there, but it used to be a Second Cup. So we went to there. We went to like a specific pizza that was in the movie, and also we didn't go on like the paid tour or anything, but we did visit the outside of Casa Loma, which is a large sort of historic stately home in Toronto. And also this random playground in a random neighborhood and sat on the swings that they sit on in like one scene in the movie. It was very silly, but it was a fun time. A Scott pilgrimage, if you will, says Sledge. Yes, exactly. Happy Thursday before Friday, says Ernesto. Hi Ernesto, welcome in. I'm sorry, I need to take a sip of my drink, but hello, I hope you're well. It's very nice to see you. Welcome in. So here's what I want to do today. I have a bunch of these little bad boys. If I can get them to. I have a bunch of these little bad boys. I don't know if this might be enough. I don't know. But I have a bunch of half pan paint pans, right? And I'm going to fill them with paints. Technically cute. Welcome in. Hello. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. Have you seen Where Scott Fought Patty Patel? I don't know. I don't remember. I don't. Do you know like the name of the location / the neighborhood that it was? It was years ago that we went on the little tour, so I do not remember which bits we did, or where we did bits. But like I like my hometown is Guelph, which is about an hour and a bit from Toronto. So it's fair to say I've been to Toronto a fair amount of times in my life. So I'm pretty familiar. I wasn't 100% sure which paint colors I wanted to use for this. I have some new ones, and I have some old ones that still have paint in them. I'm not a huge tube painter generally. Where the heck is my... Oh, who knows. Anyways. Okay. Have you seen Takeoff? If that's what I think, if that's what I think it is, then yeah, also many years ago, and it's kind of a blur. But yes, anyways. Much of my life is a blur. Ah, there's where my tube of quinacridone, good old Quin Gold, my favorite. I haven't used any of this paint because I'm scared to, because I don't want to ruin it. Anyways, this is my raw umber. I need to make sure that this is our. Oh, that was the Scott Pilgrim mini series. Okay, I was thinking of something different. That has the same name. But it was that on like Netflix, in which case no, because I don't have a Netflix subscription anymore. Because we were paying for too many subscriptions and it was really expensive. So sadly no. Okay, I'm gonna leave the Viridian and Ultramarine in here for now, because I have some, but I don't have a lot left of either of them. Anyways, but yes. Oh, okay. Here, hold up. I have some black that's already had some squeezins out of it, and here's my purple and brown. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm gonna set these to one side. So I should probably, for anyone who's recently come in, I'm going to explain what I'm about to do. This is something I've done many times before, but it's just a little bad paint science, and it's fun, and we get to make a new palette of paints out of it, basically. And this is what I would term like my Frog and Toad palette, but basically, so these paint pans here, they've all been blended with they've been like just a representative rainbow of colors that have all been blended with some amount of this like anchor color, which I think was Potter's Pink, which kind of serves to bring all the colors a little bit closer to each other on the color wheel, because they all have this shared element in them. But also because Potter's Pink in this case is a very granulating paint, it also gives you some really interesting textures when you paint with it. But basically creating a more harmonized palette like this with like what they call like the mother color, or as I like to call her, mom. It kind of works like applying an Instagram filter to your paintings. And I think makes it a lot easier to produce a painting with like a color scheme that feels very harmonious in and of itself. I don't know if the colors that I have selected for today are going to be a good sort of representative range of colors. I think I'm going to end up needing more Viridian than this because there's not very much left in that tube. But never mind. Wait, where's purple? Okay, I put them in order. Yay! So, I think I should probably swatch out the colors that I've picked for this, and I hope that these colors are going to be good colors for it. I don't know. I'm going to use this brush. But the color that is going to sort of weave through all of these is Raw Umber, because it gives everything a nice sort of brown feel, and it just kind of softens everything down in a really nice way, I think. And, yes. Anyways, okay. So that's what we're doing today. Anyways, I'm sure at some point I'll watch the Scott Pilgrim series. It seems like it would be good. And I think if memory serves I remember hearing about how it happened because just like the cast had like a group chat on like text message or something, and it just sort of sat dormant for many years, and then just like one guy was like, "Hey, do you guys want to do something?" And then they did. I think that's hilarious and really fun. You gotta love a largely inactive group chat. I say this because of the number of group chats that I have left in my time because they were too active and I was getting continuous pings and it was wearing my phone's battery down. So, yeah, anyways. Some of these paints are ones that I've used previously, and some of them are brand new pigments. And some of them I have selected specifically because they're, like, less, how shall I say, less vibrant pigments. Which I think, also we've got my scales here so that I can weigh up the amounts of paint that I use. So that now I'm not looking at necessarily doing an experiment this time where I use the exact same amount of paint every time, because I'm really more looking to achieve like specific values of colors. I bet it was Chris Evans's pigeon, maybe. The things that I know about Chris Evans and his internet activity was that one time he posted bless him. Oh, honey. One time he posted an Instagram story, and there was like a 1-frame shot of his camera roll at the end of the Instagram story, and it was too late before he noticed that there was a very personal selfie visible in his camera roll, and he had to delete it, and I felt so bad. And I'm pleased to say I did not see it, because he did not want that to be seen. And I felt really bad for him. Because that's so embarrassing. But I'm sure he's over it, because that was many years ago. I don't really follow celebrities on social media. But yeah, anyways. Oh my god, remember the... Okay, yeah. Chris Evans, aka the Human Torch. Does anyone remember those Fantastic Four movies? And do you love those Fantastic Four movies? Because I'm gonna be real, I thought that they were fun. I thought that they were fun. He's also a Disney nerd, says Pitchnet. See, I had no idea. I don't know anything about this man. I don't... But yeah, I have seen... Oof. Okay. Okay. This is why I don't like tubes. It's trying to like goosh its way out of the tube, and you can't get it back into the tube once you've like squeezed it out. I will confess to you that I know that there were like new subsequent Fantastic Four. I'm very out of touch with superhero movies these days. I think the last time I was in touch with superhero movies was like Thor 4. And I'm still mad. I'm still mad that they didn't name it Thor 4 More Thor. Like, it was right there. Thor 4 More Thor. Come on, that's great, right? Anyways. Because there was like another cast of Fantastic Fours, and then there was Fant Four Stick, and then there's the one now with what's his face? Pedro Pascal is in it. It looks like it was aesthetically quite fun. No age talk, but I am very old. Me too. Also, don't talk about your ages, chat. Anyways. But yeah. This is Raw Umber. I like Raw Umber. This is, okay. Just a little sidebar. Raw Umber. Burnt Umber is also available. Why is there no perfectly cooked umber paint? And also, if I were to buy raw umber and burnt umber and use like equal amounts of both of them and blend it into a new color, would that be perfectly cooked umber? Maybe. Maybe I should make perfectly cooked umber paint. I don't know. Anyways, Fast and Furious 10 wasn't called Fast 10 Your Seatbelt, says Pigeon. Pigeon says, I went on a binge of all his movies because I am an on-again, off-again in love with him. Did you see the movie that he's in with Jason Statham where he cries a lot? I can't remember the name of it, and I don't think it was very good. But I did really like Jason Statham in it, who, uncharacteristically, has hair in that movie. So, if you're ever on a Jason Statham film binge, enjoy the movie where Chris Evans cries a lot and Jason Statham has hair. But you probably won't, because I don't think it was very good, if memory serves. I also don't remember the name of it. I don't watch a lot of movies these days. Can you believe? Can you believe? What am I watching? I'm looking forward to watching. I haven't, but I've seen The Loser, Snowpiercer, and Injustice / Puncture. I'm pretty sure some of those are good. But I haven't seen any of them. Oh no, I can't. Oh, see, this is the problem with tubes of watercolor paint. There is no safe way for me to open this without the real possibility of squeezing it. And I do not want to squeeze it, because if I squeeze it, then paint might come out, and I'm not going to be able to get the paint back in the tube. I don't want the tube to get all messy and gross. It's going to get all messy and gross anyways. Look, it's gooshing out! No! No, I don't need that much of you, and the more it like makes a mess at this point, the harder it will be to open if like paint gets into the little threads that hold it together. It's just anyways, this is Cadmium Red Deep, which I have not used before, but ooh. It's certainly living up to the name, but I wanted to use a different red to the red that I used for previous pieces, because while I am filtering out for light fastness with regards to the paint that I'm using, I also no paint, don't goosh. I love The Losers. It's so silly. Nice. I think I've seen gift sets from it, from when I and many of my friends were really big fans of the Captain America trilogy of the Captain America family of films for a while. I kind of grew disillusioned because, like, I don't know, I developed Marvel started putting out too many movies and some of them were bad. Hopefully it doesn't contain real cadmium. It does not contain real cadmium. None of these do. It will be like a hue that approximates cadmium. Likewise, I have a chromium orange. There's not actual chromium in it. It's just chromium orange color. This is cadmium orange light. There's a lot of cads going on today. Because I'm pretty sure that my yellow is also cadmium. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to get in a nice, very brown tinted red, orange, and yellow. Whereas the last time I attempted like a sort of concept of what I wanted this palette to be, I found that the red, orange, and yellow absolutely just murdered the brown that I was trying to blend with them. Like, you couldn't see it at all, and I was very sad. So, oh, geez. Anyways. Oh, shoot. Heck. Anyways. Yes. Oh, no. Oh, no. This one has come, like, pre-squished. Like, the paint is all stuck. Like, I've never opened this paint tube, and the paint is already all stuck up in there. I mean, I guess they want to make sure that the tubes are nice and full, because they don't want you to think that they've underfilled them, but on the other hand, like... I really dislike being in situations where, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to open this. It is so stuck in place. Shoot, I'm gonna see if... I'm gonna borrow the end of this, the absolute pain of paint tubes. This is why I normally use pans, not tubes, is... I just find them so much less user-friendly. Like, if it's a re-wettable paint and watercolors are water-soluble, then I would much rather just add water to a pan of dry paint than attempt to open one of these damn things and then have too much of it squeeze out. And when it squeezes out, you can't put it back in, and I end up using way more paint than I would otherwise need. I find when I do use tubes of watercolor, I find that I end up getting through them a lot faster than I would like an equivalent amount of pan paint. Because of that, and it's just, it is quite frustrating. Okay. I have at least decanted a sample of yellow that we're just gonna pop on here. Doop, doop, doop-a-doop. That yellow is so bright. Uh-oh. This yellow is very bright. Oh no. This is cadmium yellow lemon. And I guess, like, what did I expect? That is lemon. Poseidon, hello, welcome in. Hope you're having the loveliest of lovely days. Ooh, Pigeon says, and when it squooshes out with loads of binder and you have too much paint and you have to mix it for ages. Oh man. Yeah, when, like, the binder separates and you just get, like... blah, 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 and it's just like, oh, great. Well, mix, stir, stir. Yeah, fun stuff. But it's fine. This yellow is showing up like, this yellow is almost fluorescent. So I feel like it's not showing with the full intensity that it has IRL, because damn! I feel like the warm color end of my palette here is going to end up... Also, these swatches are getting bigger and kind of drifting across the page as I go, which is terrible. And I also might need to just... I might need to open up a second tube of Viridian, because this tube is really old, and there's not very much left in it. But we'll use this up first, obviously. Anywho. And as you can see, Viridian is a super transparent couleur. Like, look at that. That's so transparent. It's a very it's like a bluish green, I would describe Viridian as. But I wanted something that's... The previous palettes that I've done, I used Helio Green, and it was so strongly pigmented that it killed every color that I tried to blend it with. Which, also not really what I want as a result. So, you know. Trying to combat that a little bit where I can. And also French ultramarine. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Okay, we got there. Genuinely, like, it's this cadmium yellow lemon is almost difficult to look at. It's so full on. Now, I know that ultramarine is very transparent and very granulating, but because of the vibe that I'm going for with this palette, I really don't want very strong... I don't want very strong colors on the blue end, so I'm actually fine with that. I feel like I could conceivably also use cobalt blue for this, but I happen to have ultramarine here, so we're gonna use ultramarine. Though I do think I might have some more cobalt blue. I don't know, but this is quinacridone purple, which is probably going to be a little bit stronger than those, because you usually get some good vibrancy from the Quin family. But oh, who is she? Hello? I don't know if you can see how freaking pretty this color is. You know how I was saying that, like, the yellow lemon is hard to look at? Compare and contrast with the quinacridone purple. I never don't want to look at this. Like, it confuses my eyes slightly. Because I think this is... And wildly, this is just one pigment. Because if you asked me, I would guess that there's like an underlying blue and then like a violet on top of it. But no, this is just one color and it's just really beautiful. Oh no, this is dangerous knowledge. Oh. The quinacridone family is fun. I want to get some quinacridone burnt orange. That's a really beautiful color as well. Here is mahogany brown, which sounds like someone's name. There we go. Which is another really nice, very, like, transparent, very granular color. I do think, like the red and the orange and the yellow, again, even though I picked different colors to my last few iterations of this activity, picked different colors, and yet these ones are still, like, just screaming at me. Just for record, this is like an attempt at making an example version of this palette previously with different set of colors. And you can see the red, orange, yellow retained their red, orange, yellowness way more than the green, blue, purple, which kind of blend down. These ones are just like, brr, scream, loud. I would like them to not be that, so I think I'm just going to have to really, really futz with the ratio of umber to like red and orange and yellow to get a more subdued frog and toad vibe. If you don't know what I mean by like a frog and toad vibe, you should be following Frog and Toadbot on Blue Sky, because it's my favorite account. They just post random passages and illustrations from the Frog and Toad books by Arnold Lobel, and they make me so happy. It's very whimsical. Frog and Toad are gay. Everything is nice about it. I love it. Anyways. Okay. The paint desperately wants to escape these tubes. It's because unlike like a plastic toothpaste tube where it kind of like goes back to its original shape when you squeeze it, these, you squeeze, and what comes out cannot be put back in. Like, it's just out there, which is very frustrating for me because, again, like, I'm working on very small scales here, so whatever I paint, you know, needs to be small amounts of paint, and sometimes it's really hard to get a very tiny, like, controlled amount of paint. And on that note, yay! It's time for my... If this looks like it's full of dirt, that's coffee grounds. Because this is our coffee scale, which we normally use to weigh out, like, servings of coffee. So that I can grind my coffee beans and that kind of thing. If you don't know, I am very much a coffee enjoyer. My aim here is to mix all of these colors together, and then we will end up with hopefully a nice, like, palette of paint colors at the end of it. Also, we're about to go into an ad, so maybe I shouldn't start this right before we're about to go into an ad, but screw it. We'll do one. Actually, I should probably figure out, just for the record, how much one of these... Okay, so one of these pans weighs about 2.5 grams, but they're not all equal? Hold up. Tear. What are you doing? Are you lean? Oh, shoot. It was touching the pumpkin. It was touching the pumpkin, everybody. That'll be why. I was like, why is it doing this? It was touching the pumpkin. So, hold on. Let's tear hair. And weigh it up. One of these weighs 0.9 grams. That's super useful as a number. Do they all weigh the same? I would say it's looking like yes, so that's really good for consistency's sake. Hello, Leaky, welcome in. I'm just weighing my paint pans, which is an extremely normal thing to do before we put paints in them. Also, hi, I hope that you are having the loveliest of lovely days and that you've had a good week so far. How's it going? It's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. Hello. We're making a frog and toad palette. Actually, I think before I mix paints, because we've got like a minute before ads run. So, hold on. Hopefully this is the name of the account. Yeah, it super is. This is Frog and Toad Bot. It's my favorite Blue Sky account, notwithstanding my own. They just post pictures of Frog and Toad, and as you can see, Frog and Toad has a very brown and brownish green and gray kind of visual aesthetic to it. In fact, I think there's only 2 colors actually being employed in these illustrations. I'm using a full rainbow, but I want the full rainbow to be evocative of like this kind of color scheme, which I would call the Frog and Toad color scheme. So that's what we're doing today. Anyways, again, if you're not familiar with the works of Arnold Lobel and his Frog and Toad books, I do very much recommend. You know, like little gay dudes who are a frog and a toad and their cute little kids' books, what's not to love? I love them so much. Anyways, we're about to go into a ad break. So before we do, I'm going to throw up the BRB screen so you won't miss anything. I'm going to take a quick break, have a drink, have a stretch, take your meds if you need to, and I'll be back very shortly, and you're not going to miss anything. Enjoy the BRB screen. Hey, I think we're back. Hi, everybody. Mossy Meadows, hello, hello. Mossy Meadows says, late Xenia raid. OMG, we have the same name. My name is also Sammy. Oh my goodness, hi! Hello, fellow Sammy. Welcome in. Lovely to see you. Hello, hello. I hope you're having the loveliest of lovely Thursdays. I'm going to futz around with paints now. And I feel like I should probably also clean my paint water because it's nasty. One second. I should have done this while I was on break. I didn't think about it. Ugh, what a dingbat. Come on. Yippee! Okay. Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm back. Hope you had a nice momentary reprieve from me, I guess. Anyways, gonna try and take this real nice and slow, I think, with regard to the adding of the paint. So I'm gonna start with like, how many grams is this? Does this even register? That hasn't even registered on the scale. Okay, awesome. Can I just get like 0.3? I'm going to start with 0.3 because I really don't want to run out of this. So I'm going to start with 0.3 of umber, and I'm going to add literally 0.1 of my cadmium red because it is dark and deep. It's stunning, but it is quite deep. Sometimes it is quite difficult to get it to register like these very small amounts. So I'm going to go really slowly because I don't want to over add. Come on. Oh, I was like, that's a huge blob. It's not, it's a bubble. That was a bubble. Oh, there's a lot of bubbles in this. What the heck is going on? Is bubbles all the way down? Is there actually any paint in here or is it all bubbles? It might all be, that was another bubble. Oh my god. Where is the paint? There we go. Okay. Sometimes it does also struggle to get off of 0. So I'm applying this very gingerly. As soon as it hits number 1, we stop. This already feels like too much. Oh no. Remember, we can always add more brown. Because this, I think, just really isn't jumping off of one at all. Can I just take this up? Blip. Nope, it still says nothing. Okay. Okay. I trust you, Mr. Scale, but I'm putting a lot of red paint into here. Oh no. In fact, it's still not registering as one, but I'm stopping. Sammy, this looks like the weirdest drug operation. Please don't ingest any of this. Please do not. It's paint. No, there were some little, like, yes. Mixie sticks. Yay. I'm stealing a cocktail stick. Which is a perfect paint mixing implement. Now, supposedly this was like 0.1 gram of red, but it has already completely consumed all of that umber, I feel like, and it's not going to really make that much of a difference. So, never mind. Anyways, hello, Cass, and welcome in. But it looks so no, it doesn't. It looks like paint. It looks like paint and is not food. Okay, well, the brown is definitely mixing in, but it's definitely not achieving quite the brownish red I was hoping for, so I'm going to add more brown. Now, I do have a concern that I'm going to run out of brown of my umber, and that's because... I actually bought a big tube of what I thought was raw umber watercolor, and then it arrived, and it turns out it's raw umber gouache. So, oh no. Okay, I've added an extra 0.3 grams of my umber, and we'll see how that behaves. Ooh! I think that's definitely oh, it's definitely getting darker. Okay. It's still a much stronger red than I would like, but I'm also going to run out of room in this container if I add too much more paint. Lizard Brain says yum yum yum. Oh, streamer says no. Streamer says no no no. Okay, I'm just gonna one more glob, then we stop. Okay. Okay, so that is 6 plus this. So that's about 1 gram of umber to supposedly nothing of red, which I think for some reason this color just did not want to get off of. Maybe this color just weighs significantly less. I don't know. Because different paint pigments are different. And they're not, because they're all made out of different materials, they do have different weights. So, potentially some weights just take up significantly different volumes. That's still way redder than I think I want, but let's swatch out what we've got for this one and see if I feel like I can make use of it. And I think I'll be able to make use of it at least, but I might end up wanting to blend it with things rather than using it straight up, because that's very similar to the original, but just a little bit warmer and a little bit darker, I feel like, is the big difference here. A little warmer, a little darker. Definitely some nice texture happening. This is hot pressed paper, by the way, so you're not going to see the same level of, like, granular color as you would with cold pressed paper. If you're not familiar, hot pressed paper is smooth, whereas cold pressed paper has a lumpy bumpy more rough texture to it. It's not the most rough texture. The most rough texture you can get is rough textured watercolor paint. Watercolor paper rather. But so it goes. Okay. I'm cleaning my cocktail stick so that I can reuse it to stir other paints. Okay. Because I don't want to use a new cocktail stick every time I want to stir up my paints. Because that feels wasteful and silly. So she's nice and clean now. We can keep going. But yeah, I'm going to pop my swatchy do machine out of the way. Pop this back on. And squeeze out some paint. Oh, another bubble. Okay, delightful. How much is that? That's 3. Okay. I think I basically used like a gram in the last one, so if I can get close to that, that's probably decent. 6, 7, 8, 9. 1.1! That's slightly too much! Oh no! Can I put some back? I'm actually gonna try and put some back, I think. Just because I don't want to run out. So if I can just glob some of this back into the tube. Okay, that is just 1 gram. Cool. Wicked. I have globbed 0.1 of a gram back inside the tube somehow. Yay. Oh, thank goodness, because I don't have a ton of this left, and like I said, there was that time that I thought I was buying a big 15 milliliter tube of this, and it turns out that they sent me gouache. I don't know if I ordered from the wrong page, or if legit they just sent me the wrong thing. You can use watercolor and gouache together, but, on the other hand, like, if I'm mixing watercolors specifically, I would rather that they weren't gouache, because gouache is a different paint. Okay, now this is a very vibrant orange, so again I want to use a fairly light touch here. It's much thicker than the red paint. Like, damn, like the red paint was like runny, and this is not. I feel like I can probably get away with maybe like, that's 1.6 grams. This also, oh my god, it looks like Kraft Dinner. Looks like, this is like the color of Kraft Dinner. I'm just gonna add like a whole ass gram of this because it's very thick. Yeah, okay. What if I just scrape off that bit and then call it? Okay. This is a 1-to-1 of the Cadmium Orange Light, which is incredibly thick and has the texture and indeed color of Kraft Dinner. Did I mention that I'm Canadian? And now we watch the brown completely disappear. Actually, no, the brown is making itself very present and aware. It's making itself known here. Good. Ooh, sorry, I got real quiet because I'm just mesmerized by watching the colors change. I realized that as we head closer and closer to winter, like, most of the trees have been blasted clean of all of their, foliage at this point here. So it's been in the minus temperatures as well, especially in the early mornings. It's feeling a lot more like, so that's looking a lot less like Kraft Dinner now, which is good. But we'll see whether or not the added brown has actually made a material difference to the color. I can just scrape some of that off of the mixy stick. It has! It's mostly made it darker. And I still think that these could be more, radically altered, I guess, than they are here. Which kind of bothers me. Maybe I shouldn't have added that much orange. Because, yeah, that's kind of, it's a very similar orange, but it's darker. It's very pretty, I think. But I wish that it was a little bit browner. Ooh, so pretty, says Pigeon. Thank you. I appreciate your kind words. Now, this yellow is like, it is screaming at my eyes in person. It is practically fluorescent. It is lemony. So I'm very tempted to add a teensy amount of yellow in the first instance. Shoot. Okay, hold. Okay. Let's just pop this bad boy on there. Pop this bad boy on there and then tear. And then do that so we know how much we just added. So that's good. But this yellow is incredibly loud. So I want to be very careful about how much yellow I add so that we don't find ourselves once again in a situation where the yellow is just way too bright. So instead of adding like equal amounts, I'm going to go with like 0.6. I'm going to go with 1 gram to 0.6 of lemon yellow and see what that gives us. This is all very bad science, but it's fun science. Maybe the cadmiums are just all quite vibrant. Ooh. See, now that is more what I'm looking for. It's very much tempered the fluorescence of the yellow and led it more into something that is quite a softer, sort of like ochre-y looking yellow, which I think is more what we're after here. So I think I might need to do some tinkering with the red and the orange. Once we've done all of the colors, I might look at doing some tinkering with those two. Especially if we have anything left at the end, then I definitely will. Ooh, that's definitely made a much more material difference to the yellow. I think what we're learning here is you've got to employ a very light touch with the cadmiums, blending them with literally anything else. They will just eat them. Yay! Good half of the mess has been tamed and I'm starving, says Joe. Are we eating paints? Absolutely we are not. That's disgusting and it's not good for your tum-tum. Please eat food. Especially if you are hungry and you've been working hard. Please have a meal. I will be making veggie nuggies. With mashed potatoes and steamed peas. I might even have a little spicy honey dip to go with my nuggies. Which is just some honey that I add a couple drops of Cholula sauce to. I have noodles cooking. Ooh, nice. Love nudes. I had rice noodles for lunch. They were really good. I hope you enjoy your noodles. Love a good noodle situation. Okay, so I'm about those. Like, the red honestly doesn't look that much different at all. The orange is a little bit deeper. The yellow is much more in line with what I want out of these paints. So I'm hoping that we're able to continue down that path. Now, I know for a fact that Viridian is a very soft pigment. Like, there isn't a lot to it. So I'm going to, this time, use a fairly light hand with my brown and squeeze out. So, oh, shoot. Oh, no. I might be running out. Also, the number is not changing, which is very annoying. Sometimes it has a hard time jumping off of 0. Tear. See, yeah, that's half a gram and it was stuck on 0. Sometimes you need to help it out. Okay. So that is 0.6, and actually, I might take away one of those and just leave it at 0.5. Because Viridian does not have a lot of power as a pigment. It's very gentle. Okay. Can I get it back in the tube and stay in the tube? Please and thank you. I need you for later. I have so little of this left. I should have bought more before we started. Oh no! It's fine. I don't know. What would happen if I mixed together watercolor and gouache? Probably nothing bad. I would just have slightly less transparent watercolor. Okay. So that's an extra 0.2. That's 4. And I am really just scraping the end of this tube now. For everything it's got. Okay, can I get a full-on gram of this in here? Come on. How you doing? Not quite. Ah, jeez. More. 1.6. Okay, I'll take it. We'll see whether or not this ends up being a good color. I am genuinely concerned that I'm going to run out of raw umber, and I don't know what I'll do at that point, because I had not planned for that. Okay. We mix and we stir, and it's all a blur. Cool. Anyways. I'm very much looking forward to getting back into Silksong tomorrow. I had not had the opportunity I couldn't stream last week. I was supposed to be traveling last Friday, and I ended up not being well and just staying at home. So that was sad. I was just sick instead of streaming instead, which is never nearly as much fun as getting to stream. So, you know. Boo! 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 Anyways. Okay. Scrape as much of this out as I can. Scrape. Cool. That's our green. I think it looks real pretty. Let's find out if it actually looks real pretty on paper. Doop-de-doo. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-doop. Ooh, that is really pretty. I feel like all of these need more brown, though. Like, that's a really nice green, but I feel like it needs more brown. I feel like I'm saying that about all of them. Which is really annoying because I'm running out of brown. Oh no. I really should have bought another tube of this stuff. Oh no. Oh well. We will continue on as best as we can with what we have left. And who knows, maybe I'll just see what... Listen, this is bad paint science, so maybe I'll just add some gouache to some of these, because I have a giant-ass tube of accidental gouache. Oh no. So sad. But anyways. Yeah. Anywho, where was I? Okay. Alright. It's blue time. Time for the color blue, which is our Französisches Ultramarine. Nice. Let's see how much of this we can add. French Ultramarine is another one that is quite oh no. I'm like right at the bottom of the tube, and I haven't even made it as far as purple yet. No. Oh no, this is so bad. Okay. Well, maybe purple can just be purple. I don't know. No, I think I'm gonna have to buy more of this stuff and do some of this terrible paint science off stream or something to finish out the palette. And hello to you, Scales. says Leaky. Hell yeah. Okay. Is there enough to get like half a gram out of this by any chance? Maybe. Squeeze, squish, squunch. Yay! Half a gram. Okay, we stop. And there's nothing left in this tube. Oh no. Oh no, this is going horribly badly. Never mind. Okay. And squeeze in a bunch of ultramarine. because it is very transparent paint. Very transparent paint. Some watercolors are more opaque than others. Some are very transparent, some are very opaque, some are very granulating, and some do not granulate at all. Some are very light fast, and some are not light fast at all. There is a very wide range of things that watercolors can be. And actually, I find it a challenge because I like to try and get comparable levels of light fastnesses with the paints that I choose. And a lot of the paints, especially in sort of the warmer range, like the yellows, the reds, the pinks especially, are for some reason based on their composition, and this is someone who understands like science can tell me more. It's possibly something to do with like spectrums of light and blah blah blah. But like reds and pinks and oranges and yellows tend to be much more fugitive on the whole than other parts of the color spectrum. I don't know why. That is it is mysterious to me, and I cannot comment on why that's the case. I'd love to learn if there is a reason that has something to do with like science and light and whatever. I'd love to know, but I don't. Well, that's just a deeper, sexier blue. Okay. I feel like this set of paints isn't quite doing exactly what I wanted it to, but never mind. Also, I've run out of raw umber paint, so I can't do more. Unless I just decide to go crazy and see where's my gouache and just add gouache to it. That wasn't the plan, but hey, what if I did that? That's not the box that it comes in. Oh shoot, what box was it in? I have so many boxes. Who's just to say where it might be? I have so many boxes. Anyways, eventually, when I get these paints looking the way I want, I'll make a painting with them. And I think that'll be a nice fun time, and I hope that you'll enjoy it. Okay, I might need to just pop over to the other side of the studio and see if I can figure out where the heck this, or is it in this box? Hold up. Maybe it's in this box. I don't remember what's in this box. Let me consult this box. Yes. I'm just gonna use this. It's a different type of paint. But you know, like, they'll work together. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Is it fine? I don't know if it's fine, but it's fine enough. Listen. This might actually be helpful. This might actually be helpful. We'll see. We'll see. It's fine. Anyways. Okay. So, I have to do my purple now. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Hello paint. This is just a totally normal watercolor. Don't worry about it. I forgot to weigh that out. Shoot. Heck, the scale wasn't on. Oh no. Okay. Pop that on there. Tear. That makes 0.6. Okay. I'm going to add an entire 1.1 apparently of our beautiful raw umber. Everyone do not eat raw umber. It's not good for your digestion, okay? 1.1. I'm going to start with 0.5 with my purple, so we'll go up to 1.6 if I can. Okay, that was easy. 2 blobs. Nice and bang on. That was entirely on purpose. Anyways. It looks like peanut butter and jam. Oh no. Maybe it's been a very long time since I saw peanut butter and jam, so my expectations are very skewed. I mean, that's also very possible. Okay, you do need to really sort of, like, dig to the bottom to make sure that it's, like, fully stirred up. Because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you get to the bottom of your paint pan and you're like, oh, there was just, like, a pocket of just unmixed brown down there. Like, do not want that. Wow, this purple has changed. It's so much browner. It's a very brownish purple. Which is good. I am gonna, I think, probably go back and add more brown to the others. I'm not, like, making any notations of, like, how much of each color I'm using for these as I go, because I can just go back and look at the VOD if I ever want to recreate this, this palette. But again, I think most, if not all, of these colors are going to end up getting like a V 2.0 reiteration. Oh my god, okay, actually, this purple is just brown now. This purple is mahogany brown. It's the exact same as the mahogany brown! That's so funny! Oh my god, that's wild! That's the kind of transformation I was looking for, though. Oh, nice! Okay, well, that's a good start for that one. I don't need to do any adjusting to this, I don't think. I might even actually add more purple back to it, come to think of it. I might end up doing that. We'll see. We'll see. The other two colors are brown and black, which are already kind of fine just the way that they are, but we will mess with them for funsies. So, there we go. Here's my big brown tube. And whoop. Get in. Maybe just like half a gram of this. Or maybe, okay, no, 0.6 of a gram of this. Because the mahogany brown is also quite transparent. But man, it just ate that Quinn purple. That's wild and I love it. That's so cool. Okay. How much is that? That's 1 gram of brown. Okay. We'll start with that, and then we'll see. Alright. And switching it off to save battery. This is so satisfying to do. If you've ever thought, you know, it'd be really fun just stirring paint together, you're right. It feels real good. Trying to kind of angle my stir stick and swirl it around every potential corner here just to make sure that we get a really well blended color and there's no pockets of stray umber like hiding in the shadows down there, because we do not want that. So that's our brown, and we just pre-paint a little square. And then, doop. Ooh. I got way too much paint on that. Okay. But that's definitely altered the brown quite significantly. Mahogany brown in and of itself is a really beautiful color. But that's very, very altered, like, the temperature of that brown. In a way that I think looks neat. So, yay. Yippee! Okay, and just... Oh, this poor tissue is just covered in stripes of varying intensities of the colors that I'm wiping on it. Nice, beautiful, pretty. So yeah, this is basically prep for whatever I end up painting next week, I guess. I'll use these paints. I think heck. Okay, I don't know. I had other pans and I don't know where they've gone. I don't need them yet. It's fine. I'll find them later. But okay. Now I don't want black to be mostly black. And it is a fairly transparent black, but we'll see if I do the like half 0.4 if I do like half a gram to a gram of black, we'll see how that looks. But I think I am going to go back and add more brown to the red, orange, and yellow, and also green and blue, actually, because I feel like they could all be a little bit browner. Oop. what number is this? This is 3. 4 and 4 and 5. Yay! Yippee! Good job, me. Okay. Oh, 1.6. Whatever. Close enough! And now we stir again. You know the drill. I feel like the black is slightly going to eat this, but if it creates a slightly warmer... It'll still be black, but it'll be like a warmer black. I think that's kind of what we want here. It's like a warm black, you know? Because I know that like black and white are kind of absolutes where color is concerned, but in the actual application of them in like art purposes, they are not. You know, white is all of the colors at once, and black is the total absence of color, blah, blah, blah. But also, it's not always that in paintings. Like, it's not. And that's fine and good, actually, and more interesting than if it was just, you know, even, like, most of the paint, like, the watercolor papers and stuff that I use are not, like, pure black. They are... Sorry, not pure white, rather. They're like a warm, nearly white color. Hello, Strawberries. Thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. Yeah, that's like a nice, dirty, warm black. So I think that'll work quite nicely. I'm quite happy with the brown and the black and the purple, which is brown. I'm feeling pretty good about all of this. I might actually add a little bit of purple back into the purple, because it is just straight ahead brown at this point. So that might be what I do first, is to add like 0.2 of additional purple to this. Not too much. Not too much. Anyways, how you doing, Strawberries? It's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. How many doots is that? That's no doots. Okay. Okay. Well, you're just not registering anything that I'm weighing, are you? Ah, shoot, it's doing that thing again. Well, this is going to be an extremely imprecise measurement, and I'll never be able to recreate it, and that's going to make it a very special color indeed. And you know what? That's fine. That's fine. At some point, sometimes I just end up having to abandon scientific methodology and just being like, listen, things are gonna... I go in with the very best of intentions, and things just sometimes get a little bit of chaotic. Things get a little bit chaotic, and that's okay. That's totally okay. That doesn't mean they end up being not good. They just end up being different. Alright. Doing good. This seems like a very cute, cozy space, says Strawberries. I aim to cozy, so thank you. Trying my best. We're just doing some very, at this point, extremely poor and non-rigorous paint science at this point. Okay, that's a purpley brown. Now that's a purpley brown. Okay, I think I can stop on purple. Because purple is, I think, where I want it to be now. That's, that brown has just enough warmth in it that it feels like, I think in context it'll feel like a purpley brown. So that's good. But blue is too blue. So I need to decant some of my big tube into my blue until we get a color that we want. I don't think cozy is not a verb as far as I know, but what if I made it one? Like what if? Anyways, okay. How much is this blob? But if it just get will you get in the... There. Set. That's 0.3. Let's aim for like 5. Let's go for 0.5. An extra ½ gram. Let's see how that impacts our French ultramarine. Which I'm hoping it will, because French ultramarine generally is pretty gentle. I thought, anyways. Oh, well, so far that looks insane. But let's give it a really good stir until it looks blue again. Okay, okay, the blue is coming back. The blue is coming back to it. Ooh. Yeah, it definitely needed more umber. Older viewers may remember, I've done a few iterations of the let's mix together a mother color and a representative rainbow of colors and then use those paint palettes. And I always have a really good time with them. My favorite, if I had to pick a favorite of the ones that I've made so far, it's probably the one that's blended with, where every color is blended with Lunar Red Rock. Because that's such a lovely, like, rich brownish red. And it makes for very cozy, sort of autumn wintertime pieces that I find very enjoyable. That's such a good blue! Oh my goodness, I can't, let's find out how this blue actually looks on the page. Because I'm genuinely very curious. Hell yeah. It's hardly blue at all. Perfect. That's frog and toad colors. Yes, I'm into it. I'm into it. Okay, that's a good blue. Okay. This is fun. For me, anyways. I don't know. Is it fun for anyone else? I don't know. But I have fun doing it. It's nice just kind of to experiment in this way and see how different pigments behave with each other. Seeing what two colors produces in concert with one another. So, we are killing this Viridian. Just straight up murdering it with umber. I'm gonna use just like, I'm gonna start with like a blob, I think, maybe like that. Yeah, okay, that much. Q2s, hello! Oh heck, I missed doing the intro, but you're here now and it's lovely to see you. Welcome in. I'm just I'm refining the recipe for these colors, because I found that they were all a little bit too vibrant against the umber, and I want them to be very sort of soft and gentle and muddy and frog and toad colors. Anyways, I hope you're well also. It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. And let's give this a turn and keep stirring, because, oh, there was a pocket of unstirred green in there. Let's make sure this gets really nice and well combined. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-doop. Okay. Okay. This is more what I wanted in the first place. Is a very... What's nice about the ultramarine is that it granulates, so even though this doesn't look like a very blue color, you can actually see there's a lot of blue still in it. So that will work as a blue, is my point, which is exactly what I want. But also, when you do like a paint set like this where you're using quite a substantial amount of your like mom color, and it pulls all of the colors kind of into a much tighter circle of a color wheel. It means that, like, in the context of a piece where all of the colors kind of look like this is going to look, you know, sort of bluer. Sammy doing witchcraft, very on brand. Hell yeah, that's a very froggy green. I'm hoping to do some Terry art with this. Like, number one, Terry the Forg Mage is going to get painted in this palette, for sure, for sure. But number two, Q2s, I have named this my Frog and Toad palette. Because I want it to be reminiscent of, like, the aesthetic of, like, the Frog and Toad books. That's kind of my inspiration for the colors I'm creating here. Oh, very Zevi froggy. I mean, also true. Another frog streamer, friend of the channel, Art by Zvesta. If you don't know their work, it's very frog heavy, and we love to see it. They are good frogs. As fellow frog enjoyers here on stream, I am here for it. Now, this yellow was pretty good. I was pretty happy with it, so I don't want to add, like, a ton of brown to my yellow, but I think I can just bring it down a touch. So I'm not going to add a ton of this to it, but that's 0.4 of a gram, so I'm going to... there's froggy green, and then there's this particular shade. A particular shade of frog. Oh, sorry, I was fully stirring that. I didn't realize that I wasn't at all on camera at that point. I've been doing this for years, and I'm still bad at that, just like moving things in a way that feels natural for me to be doing them, but sometimes when I move things in a way that feels very natural for me to be doing them, it is completely invisible to anyone else. Oh no. Okay. Okay, and also, in case anyone's wondering, if Terry has a canonical, like, frog color, it's sap green. It's just sap green. Probably because sap green is the color that I have used most to paint Terry. So Terry is canonically sap green. I also established last stream that Terry is Arrow Ace, probably. Or at least I've always thought of him as such. Oh, that's really interesting. It's kind of gone from, like, fluorescent to, like, sort of warmish to, like, way warmer and somehow more vibrant? Again, it's gone from, like, extremely vibrant to not very vibrant to a little bit more vibrant again. What is happening with this yellow? This yellow is witchcraft. This yellow is magecraft. Terry, what are you doing? Anyways, Terry is me, says Joe. Yay! Hell yeah. Okay, this orange needs a lot of assistance because it's too potent. It's way too potent, and I will not stand for it, so I'm just gonna... Probably slightly... I hope I'm not overfilling this pan, but I am a little bit concerned that the pan is going to get overfilled slightly. 1 gram. This also means I have significantly more red, orange, and yellow than anything else, because I've added so much paint to it to try and get it to flip and chill. So this one also is very full, so it's very difficult to get... No. I'm going to sip my tea, which is turmeric and pineapple. Mmm. Thank you for the hydrate. I appreciate it. That was delicious. And could you tell in my voice that I hadn't had a sip in way too long? Because it's true. It's very true. Okay. Having to very carefully kind of lift and fold this through. Lift and fold, and then give the pan a turn, and then fold this side. Alright. This is still feeling like a very cheesy looking orange. Like, it looks like... It doesn't really look like craft dinner in real life anymore, at least. It's kind of lost its craft dinner. Also, it will shrink down slightly as it dries, so I'm not too worried about it being quite full. Because it will be alright in the long run. But let's see if I manage to save the orange. Is the orange any good now? God, I hope so. This has been very difficult work. That's almost still too orange, if I'm being honest. I feel like that could be less orange, but that's very close to, like, the orange that I'm looking for. Q2 has redeemed a posture check. Thank you very much for the posture check. I shall lengthen my spine. Oof. Ow. Oh my goodness. Here's what I'm going to do specifically with the orange and the red is I have this little cream cheese container with some blobs of paint in them. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to decant some of this into here for future use so that I can add more brown to this pan Just literally, I've abandoned the precise measurement methods here. I'm just removing paint as best as I can. So that I can add more and not have it spill over. Yeah. Get out, get out. Shake it off. Drip, 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 drip. Okay. Have I freed up enough space to add? Yeah, I reckon. Okay. Drip that last little bit out. Okay, I'm gonna add some more brown. There is no science to this now. I don't know how much I got rid of because I didn't measure that because I'm silly. But I genuinely think this can be a slightly browner. Like, it doesn't need to be that much browner, but it definitely wants to be a little bit browner. So if I add another like 0.4 of a gram to this now, hopefully that'll be good. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no. It dribbled. Ah, shoot. What a mess. Okay. Alright, it's fine. Thank you for the posture check as well. I was indeed quite shrimpy. Oh, never hydrated, always shrimpy. Hey. I mean, listen, it's true, but hey. Okay, lift and fold, lift and fold, lift and fold in the other direction. Then give the whole thing a turn, lift and fold again. And it's once again extremely full. Ah! That's going to have to sit there and hopefully start forming a skin and then dry real quick. Okay. But first, version 3, orange. Yeah, that's better. Like, I don't think it's made that much of a difference, but it's definitely made a difference. That's more toad color, I think, so. Yeah, I'll leave it at that, I think. That'll do quite nicely. And then we'll actually paint some, you know, like a scene or a character or something with this next time. I do also have paper experiments that I think I'll just do like a painting with this in the first instance, like on Monday, but I do want to do I have the paper experiment that I really want to do as well, where we do effectively the same painting but on 3 different types of paper, and then we compare them. Because I am a big nerd, and I think it would be fun. This flipping red is so strong that I think before I even add more brown paint to it, I'm just going to decant some of it out. Because it just has so much intensity that I think adding just a little bit of brown is not going to cut it. Like, I'm happy for it to be red at the end of some description, but nowhere near this red. This is a very deep, bright red, and I need it to mellow the heck out. So, I think this blend needs to be very much more heavily brown. So I'm just going to keep removing red. And then add, like, I don't know. I'll start with like 0.5 gram and then see if I need to add more, honestly. Or we'll see how much we squeeze out. I always go into these with the best of intentions and they just kind of devolve into, whatever. I would like these to be, like, reproducible, but ultimately, It's if they're one of a kind and I'm never able to produce the exact same paint blend twice, then, you know, maybe that's kind of special. Maybe that's kind of special. That's how I'm going to spin it for my mental health. I note that the red, again, looks really, at least on my monitor, looks super orange on camera compared to how it actually looks. Oh, damn, that's 0.9 of a gram. Okay. Well, why don't I just add a whole ass gram? I feel like, if we're being honest, the red kind of is going to need a gram. Okay, that's still sitting on 0.9, but I added quite a lot extra to it, so never mind. Right. We stir. It is stir time. Oh, and we switch off the, we don't want to wear the battery down on the scales, so we switch off the scales. Okay. And we go. Well, the good news is the color is changing. That usually bodes pretty well for it's actually going to... Oh, look at, like, the marbly swirl on it. It's so much fun. Love that for me. That might be because there's a lot of red paint just, like, stuck to the stir stick. Oh, no. Let's try and blend that in as best as we can. It's trying to dump me into ads again. I really would rather it didn't do that. So I'm going to snooze them. And we will take off before another ad break runs. Because I don't want y'all to have to see more ads. Because ads suck. And the less I can put you through the gauntlet of ads, the better. As you probably know by this point, I cannot switch off ads entirely. We're not allowed to do that. It's a free platform. And the price for it being free is you have to look at ads sometimes. Which... So it goes, I guess. Anyways. This paint water is getting a little colorful, which is not ideal, but oh well. It's also quite a big blob of water, so I'm just gonna sop some up there. And then, we'll take what is probably actually already too big of a blob of red paint. So I've put some back. And... Jeez! This red is so intense that every time I add brown to it, it just gets darker. It's doing nothing. What the heck? No! Stop it! Why are you like this? I mean, I know exactly why you're like this, but why are you like this? Okay, I've snoozed ads. So you won't have to deal with those for a minute. Yippee. Okay, that's still, yeah, that's too, no, that's too red. It needs to be less red. Alright, well, let's decant out some more of this red and add some more brown to it. Like, it's way browner than it was before. If you look at the two of them next to each other, like, damn. But, also, like, damn. I really want a more cohesive palette, and the best way to more cohesive is if they're all browner. So, gonna finish this one off, and then we'll call it a palette, I guess. Oh no, there was like a cluster of poorly mixed red in there as well, so it's even redder than I thought it was. No! Okay, it's fine. This red can I should have used less red, but the red was, for some reason, it was one of those ones where sometimes the scale has trouble jumping off of 0 in the first instance, and it was not jumping off of 0 at all for me. So, I couldn't get a read on how much red I was adding, and I probably just added too much red in the first time. Okay, as it's drying down, it's definitely starting to look browner, but it could definitely be browner still, so... Big globs. 1 gram. 1 more gram of this dang umber brown. Oh well. Let's go. Stir them up. Please be enough. Please be enough. I'm also tempted to... No, I think the orange is probably good enough. I don't know. Who can say? I feel like the orange is still a little bit bright, but that might just be because I put like a dark amount of it down. Maybe if it was slightly more watered down, it would look better. I don't know, y'all. I just don't know. This is all just like guessing. It's not even educated guessing because I did not go to art school. I have a cultural studies and a literature degree. I did a lot of linguistics and I minored in psychology. Yay! Well, okay, at least in the pan this color is looking real beautiful. We'll see how it plays out on... This is more what I had in mind for like a red. So we'll see how it plays out on the... on our swatches. Okay. Let's try again. My hands are so covered in paint now. They are so covered in paint. It is super messy. But this is very fun. If you've ever thought to yourself, gee, I wonder what would happen if I just like chaotically mixed some paints together and made myself a paint palette that was a color scheme that I wanted to use. Gazillion out of 10 do recommend doing it. It's very fun. That's a much better red. It's still very deep and very intensely pigmented, but it's way browner than, like, we started with this and now it's that. That's so much better. That's like a brownish, like, maple red, which is good, but I think I want to just do a little bit more to the orange. I think it's gonna bother me if I don't do a little more to the orange. So, I'm sorry. The orange is getting what I really hope is its final... I don't think it needs that much more, but I'm gonna give the orange its final iteration, I think. And then I will whisk you away into a raid. So, remove some... I will use all of these paints that live in here for something. I don't know what, but I will. Some kind of... This looks like... It does look... Okay, annoyingly, it does look like some kind of dip or sauce. Like, I concede that it really does. Like, you could definitely dip something in this. It could be like... It's not quite honey mustard, but maybe like a... I don't know, like a Japanese curry sauce. It looks kind of like Japanese curry sauce, I think. I've snoozed the ads again. Because I don't want you to have to look at them. Anyways, we're nearly done with this, I think. I hope. I'm like unearthing unmixed bits of orange in here. Oh no. But if I just grab one more amount. Okay. We're gonna add some more brown to this. And whatever it looks like is gonna be good enough. Oops. Let's get the scales on. Okay. All nice and tared out. And how much is this? That's 0.7. Sure, why not? Again, why am I measuring at this point? None of it. Nothing in life matters. It's fine. Do whatever you feel like. Just run on vibes. This obviously does not apply to anything and everything. But when it comes to mixing paint, maybe I don't need to... Maybe the lesson to be learned here is that you don't need to be mega scientific when you're mixing paint. Just measure with your heart and just blend things together until they look like the color you want them to be. Ta-da! This doesn't need to be this annoyingly precise. Ho-hum. Okay. I'm just gonna rotate and then go again, because this will capture elements of it that I maybe didn't catch on the first stirrup. Okay, I think that'll do. I think that'll do. We've got our nice little pot of Japanese curry sauce here. It looks absolutely delicious. Do not eat. It is not food. Despite any evidence to the contrary, it's not. Oh shoot, it's not that one. It's this one. It's this one down here. Oh no! Oh no! 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 Stay in the potto! Stay in the potto! Oh no! It's fine. It's fine, don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll get it in a second. Okay. I'm actually going to use a really small amount of this because I think the other thing is that it's very concentrated. That still looks like mega orange to me, but I think it's as good as it's going to get. So I'll take it. That'll do, I suppose. This mixie stick is dead, and so is this piece of tissue, and my hands are covered in paint. And, I need another tissue. Hold up. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's fine. Anyways. Okay, hold up. I'm just gonna... Dippy. Definitely didn't get paint on my phone's screen. It's fine. And just gonna clean up the side of this bad boy. Make that all nice and tidy. And then we're gonna not touch these until they're very dry. But first I'm gonna clean up the ones that have spills and stuff on them. Shh, it's fine. It's fine, don't worry about it, it's fine. You don't normally get to see me cleaning down, but I figure I should probably do this sooner rather than later, because I don't want it to make more of a mess on the doodad than is already on the doodad. You know, the, whatever you call this kind of board. Okay. Hi, baby. I'm just finishing up. Anyways, thank you for hanging out with me while I finished a painting and then did some weird stuff today. I hope you had fun hanging out. It's been a nice time. And just like that. Good as new. Sheer perfection. Good. Now then, these paints are not to be touched for at least like a day. My hands are covered in watercolors. Oh, shoot. Alright, snoozing the ads one last time. So that I can whisk us away. Weird art is always appreciated, says Sammy, and I do, well, I appreciate your appreciation in that case, thank you. Anyways, it's, I don't want to touch this too much because I don't want to get rogue paint off of my fingies on it, but this is what we finished painting today. And now I'm gonna go cook some nuggies, so I'm gonna see if there's anyone online for us to do a little raid on. I'm gonna thank you all for hanging out with me today. Had a nice time. JD's doing a little co-working sesh, so I'm gonna drop y'all into there, because JD is nice and I haven't raided them in a while. Doof. Hopefully they're not just about to finish. Oh my god, they've been going for 7... They might be just about to finish because they've been going for 7 hours, but let's go say hi anyways. Thank you so much for hanging out, y'all. Here's a generic raid message. I am legit going to raid and run because I have to go cook dinner and I also have to wash my hands. But please give my regards to JD and yeah, all that jazz. Did I just press a button? I don't know. Shoot. No. My Twitch is being all chuggy and weird. Which is very frustrating for trying to put a generic raid message in there. If you have the emotes, feel free to grab the message with the emotes. If you don't have the emotes, you can just say generic raid message or append any cool emotes that you do have. It's all good. I will be back at some point. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching this bizarre artistical experiment. I'm really looking forward to actually getting to use these paints soon. And in the meantime, have a lovely rest of your evening. Have a good everything. Take care, everyone. Good night, and good luck.